I announce my candidacy for President of the United States. I do so grateful for the privilege this country has already given me, mindful that I must seek this responsibilities for reasons greater than my self-interest, and determined to use every lesson I've learned through hard experience and the history I've witnessed, every inspiration I've drawn from the patriots I've known, and the faith that guides me to meet the challenges of our time and strengthen this great and good nation upon whom all mankind depends. We've begun another campaign season earlier than many Americans would prefer. So soon after our last contentious election, our differences are again sure to be sharpened and exaggerated. That's the nature of free elections. But even in the heat of a campaign, we shouldn't lose sight of that much more defines us than our partisanship, much more unites us than divides us. We have common purposes and common challenges, and we live in momentous times. This election should be about big things, not small ones. Ours are not red state or blue state problems. They are national and global. Half measures and small-minded politics are inadequate to the present occasion. We can't muddle through the next 4 years bickering among ourselves and leave to others the work that is ours to do. Greatness is America's destiny, but no nation, complacent in its greatness, can long sustain it. We're fighting a war in two countries, and we're in a global struggle with violent extremists who despise us, our values, and modernity itself. If we're to succeed, we must rethink and rebuild the structure and mission of our military, the capabilities of our intelligence and law enforcement agencies, the purposes of our alliances, the reach and scope of our diplomacy, the capacity of all governments, branches of government to defend us. We need to marshal all elements of American power, our military, economy, investment, trade, and technology. We need to strengthen our alliances and build support in other nations. We must preserve our moral credibility and remember that our security and the global progress of our ideals are inextricably linked. My friends, we all know that the war in Iraq has not gone well. We've made mistakes, and we've paid grievously for them. We've changed the strategy that failed us, and we've begun to make a little progress. But in the many mistakes we've made in this war, a few lessons have become clear. America should never undertake a war unless we're prepared to do everything necessary to succeed, unless we have a realistic and comprehensive plan for success, and unless all relevant agencies of government are committed to that success. We did not meet this responsibility initially, and we must never repeat that mistake again. We must also prepare far better than we have to respond quickly and effectively to another terrorist attack or national calamity. When Americans confront a catastrophe, natural or man-made, they have a right to expect basic competence from their government. They won't accept that firemen and policemen are unable to communicate with each other in an emergency because they don't have the same radio frequency. They won't accept the government's failure to deliver bottled water to dehydrated babies or rescue the infirm from a hospital with no electricity. They won't accept substandard care and indifference for our wounded veterans. That's not good enough for America, and it's not good enough for me. Government spends more money today than ever before. Wasteful spending on things that are not the business of government indebts us to other nations, deprives you of the fruits of your labor, fuels inflation, raises interest rates, and encourages irresponsibility. That's not good enough for America, and when I'm president, it won't be good enough for me. No government program is the object of more political posturing than Social Security and Medicare. Here's the plain truth. There are too few workers supporting too many retirees, and if we don't make some tough choices today, Social Security and Medicare will go bankrupt, or we'll have to raise taxes so drastically we'll crush the prosperity of average Americans. Too many politicians want to ignore the problem and run for re-election by threatening anyone who wants to fix it. That's not good enough for America, and when I'm president, it won't be good enough for me. Our tax code is used to game the system from some at the expense of the many, instead of encouraging the thrift, investment, innovation, and industry of all Americans. Its complexity and waste costs Americans $140 billion in preparation and compliance costs each year. That's not good enough for America, and when I'm president, it won't be good enough for me. Our dependence on foreign sources of energy not only harms our environment and economy, it endangers our security. So much of the oil we import comes from countries in volatile regions of the world where our values aren't shared and our interests aren't a priority. That's not good enough for America, and it's not good enough when I'm president. It won't be good enough for me.